depending on where we are emotionally.
Right.
So many years ago, Candace Pert, uh, Dr. Candace Pert wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion, that our
Right.
emotions are actually located in our cells of our body. So
Neuropeptides.
why would we think children would not know that? Of course they know it, and they
Right.
feel it. Their senses are on high alert, and when we can cultivate our own senses to be more discerning of that subtlety, those are the nuances that really honor our children and develop these deep relationships that connect with their purpose and ours here too.
Right. And even when you said just cooking dinner, because for me, I had an experience of this where there was a woman who is kind of a mediocre cook. There's not anything special about what she makes, but the food that she makes, she sings over it and she blesses the food as she's cooking and singing. And that food, it doesn't
I love
matter
it.
if it's macaroni and cheese. There is a
Yeah.
taste in that food. And when you were saying that palpable energy, and I was trying to think, wait a second, you know what? I mean, it's even when you walk into the house and you're shoving those emotions down from whatever happened at work, you can't, right? Because that energy, it's going to radiate out. And actually, it's probably going to radiate out even a little bit further because now it's a pressure cooker because you push those
Yeah.
emotions down and you're trying to fake your way through it. And those little ones are just wise beyond anything that we can imagine as adults because they pick up on all of that energy that they're being presented with, and it's just natural for them to know that, to
Yeah.
know how a person is feeling.
I love that. I love that singing over the food. It really is.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful visual. It's really a beautiful metaphor for how to ideally kind of go about life. Now we know there's ideal, and then there's how it can really happen. But if we keep the ideal in mind, it's so much easier to get there. It's so much easier to get there. And children don't have to think about what kind of energy mom or dad is in these early years. They just their energy bodies are permeable. They just absorb it. There is such a
Right.
thing as children being sponges, and it's not only sponges like mentally or with brain development, it's sponges energetically. And that's what we have to be aware of, is that we are energetic beings. We literally are the atoms of our body. And when we have emotions that have shown to be carried in the atoms of our body, that being aware and conscious of this helps us to bring to the best of our ability, bring our best selves to our children.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when we can't, we need the tools, right? Right, Nada? You help people do that. When we can't bring our best, we need tools to shed or work through or get to the other side of those blockages and those hindrances that are in our way of our own resolution of our own psychology.
Right. Right. And even when you just said that there's an ideal way to do this, and then there's the way that we tend to fall back and just to do it from
Yeah,
how we've done it in the past. But just knowing that there is an ideal, I think if people just know that, and it's not Beaver Cleaver, well, I don't remember Beaver Cleaver's mom's name, but it's not Mrs. Beaver Cleaver, but it's just an idea that I can do it so much better. I can do this. I can show up in the moment so much better. And if I just know that there is an ideal that I can strive for, I'm already on that road. I've already set those molecules into motion instead of just
absolutely.
being angry that, like, God, there's just so much stress in my world and this is so hard. Then that's all we bring into our world is much more of that stress and, oh, it's so hard and the constriction. But just knowing even if I'm not living into that at this moment, I know that there's an ideal and I know that there's a better way that I can do that. And I'm now in motion. And I don't think a whole lot of people understand that it just sounds like it's talk, but it's not. It's rearranging the
It's
molecules that make up this entire universe.
absolutely.
That make up us. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are what we think, and in this scenario as well, when there are young children involved, you can involve the child in helping you stay aligned. And
Yeah.
I had my own personal experience. Um, was so stressful at times that I just said to my children, you can help mommy stay kind. You can help mommy stay kind. This is, how about if you hear something from mommy, or mommy does something that upsets you or that hurts you, you can say, Mommy, shake it off. I mean, we made it a game. Mommy,
Yeah.
shake it off. And then we jump around like jumping beans. And it's impossible to stay in a bad mood when you're jumping around like a jumping bean. It's impossible. So everyone ends up giggling and falling on the floor. And the energy, it's what I call a pattern interrupt. It interrupts the energetic pattern of that stress or anger or upsetness. And it just switches it to joy, to upliftment, to an entirely different place. And, Taylor Swift, the popular songwriter now for the last year or so, has had a song named Shake It Off. And my own kids, who are now young adults, called me and said, Mom, Taylor took your slogan.
Oh, no.
Because they still remember, when mommy's upset, or if mommy says something you don't like, you say, shake it off, mommy, and then we would jump and shake. And there are other ways to do pattern interrupt, but you can involve your child, is what I'm saying. And if you can bring a playfulness to it and give your child permission to bring that playfulness to it, then when they do it, you've got to respond, of course. Like if you're like cranky and I don't want to jump like a jumping being right now, for goodness sake, but you've got to do it. When they say that, then it makes it real, and they know that they can help bring about this joyful state of being in their own environment.
Right. And what a gift to give to the children, because then they start understanding and realizing that they have an impact on other people's lives in such a simple way of I can help this person change from this bad mood into a happier mood just by supporting them.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's so
But
empowering.
I don't know if they thought about supporting, they're too young to kind of think of it in those terms, at least in these early years, but they do realize that they have a certain role, that they're honored, that they have some authority, that they have some credibility in helping mommy change her mood.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And powerful. We tend to let them know when they've done something wrong, and so now they can see for themselves that they are doing something that's very powerful, and not knowing the words of, or even understanding the whole thing of I'm supporting and that I can do other good in the world because of this lesson that's been taught to me. But I believe that gets ingrained, and they understand that on a different level as they get older because it became part of their life. Oh, Kathleen, we are out of time. Again, I cannot believe this. So would you be willing to come back some other time? Because I have about, 10 other questions that I have written.
No, I would love to.
Ask you.
I'd love to. I enjoy talking about, of course, the energetics of parenting, the energetics of the young child, and the sacredness of this time. I'll make time for you, Nada. This is it's an important and a fun conversation. So thank you so much for having me. I look forward to connecting with your listeners as well.
Yes, for sure. And can you tell us what is the easiest way for the listeners to get in touch with you? And this will be in the show notes. So if anybody is driving and you miss this information, no problem. It will all be in the show notes.
Kathleen Scherek, KathleenScherek.com would be the best way. And there would be information there about how to connect with me. And there periodically I offer open consults, so that could be one way to connect as well. But that would be the best location. Thank you for asking, Nada.
Absolutely, yes. And Kathleen Scherek, she spells her last name Scherek. And again, that will be
S is in Sam. Yeah, Kathleen, and then S is in Sam, Cherek.com. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. It's been such a pleasure and a privilege, and I look forward to being back with you again, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
Let's do it again. Thank you.
Yes. And to all of the listeners, thank you. Have a wonderful week. I know that you have gleaned so much information from this, so we will continue this conversation. God bless all of you. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.